What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. Hope everybody's doing well. If you're catching this on replay, hey, please go ahead and do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment below. Um, got some interesting stuff to talk about this week. Card market, on eBay and stuff is something that we need to look at. Uh, and it's it, it it's it's weird, right? We're at that it's kind of that odd time of year, right? Because, a lot of the market, it is around football, right? Football, basketball, baseball. Yeah, the money's there in baseball. Um, but the problem you have is right now you don't have a lot of new stuff coming out. You only have, Tops Series 1 out right now. And the truth is the prices of that stuff, it's not gonna be great. There's gonna be there will be certain cards, you know, that are gonna be worth, some money, but overall, they're not. It's just not gonna be there, right? So, we got some peeps. Alan, what is going on, sir? Hello. And as always, we got everybody's buddy, Dami. What is happening, Dami? So, like I was saying, I think, part of the issue you have right now for baseball, is you really the only new product, the only real decent product you have out there right now, is Topps 2024 Series 1. And we know from being in the hobby as long as we have, especially when it comes into the selling of eBay and all that kind of stuff, that the truth is that stuff is not going to drive the market. There's very few cards in Series One that are going to be worth money. Um, Lockin, how are you? How's it going? Adam's Card Closet. Hello. What up, Adam? You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at um when you're looking at the market, it's kind of hard because there are like I said, the unless you get, yeah, I know Ellie De La Cruz is selling, but when you look at like the two biggest cards in Series One right now are the super short print of Otani in his Dodgers uniform and Juan Soto in his Yankee uniform. That's really, that's really where you are right now. Those are your two, biggest cards. Um, you know, overall. And I don't even know if they're selling because there's so few. But the other stuff, Ellie De La Cruz, he's a big rookie. Jason Dominguez, I guess, is a big rookie. But again, unless you're getting, an autographed refractor of one of one, some of these, excuse me, some of these these cards, that are super short print, stuff like that, you know, value's not there, in Series One, and it's probably not going to be there in Series Two. Baseball value really isn't driven until you get to 5 star. Well, Chrome will have a little, you'll get a little bit of a bump in the Chrome, but definitive, it's a lot of these higher end products where you're going to get your money out of baseball. Whereas even in football, you know, um, in some of the blaster boxes, you might find a case hit in something. Again, what is it worth? It's not going to be worth, you're not finding the $10,000, cards in retail stuff, right? So it's kind of hard. The market's at a weird point in time. It's been like this for a long time, because you don't have that football product. There was only so much coming out, so you didn't have that stuff, moving as much. And again, right now Football is at a lull. Yes, a lot of football is still being ripped, but it will go ahead and it should slowly start to come down. There's not a lot we can do about it. Again, there's only certain products out there, so it's not like we have a ton of choice for current product. I mean, again, I mean, it is really that simple, and it's a tough market to be in right now. But again, you know, uh, it is what it is. I'm just trying to see if I can look up some stuff while I'm talking to you guys. So, it is what it is. Football should get a little bit of a spike as we come near the draft. Then it'll go down. Um, Basketball, same type of thing. But with Panini not having autograph, with the whole issue with autographs with Panini and stuff, I mean, that's a big one. That is definitely a big, big, big issue with the autographs and Panini. There's not a lot. There's really not a lot we could go ahead and and do from that standpoint. But again, a lot of the people really not we're really not basketball people. One of the ones that hang out here and stuff. So from that standpoint, not gonna do anything. And then hockey, phew, um, hockey. The big thing is Connor Bedard, and when it comes to Connor Bedard, I mean, who was it? David Adams. They put $1 million bounty out for the Connor Bedard one of one Young Guns. They'll pay $1 million if anybody pulls that. I don't know how Upper Deck does their stuff. I don't know if that was, if that's going to be one of those ones where you have to, um, you know, uh, where you're going to have to, buy hobby boxes or whatever it may be. But that's going to be that'll be what it will be. Again, there's not a lot that we can go ahead and do to affect that one. Again, I don't think we have a lot of hockey people, so we'll have to go from there. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, autos are a lot more of, case hits and upper deck. So, I putting $1 million bounty on that one, that's probably probably safe to say that, there's gonna be a lot of product. It's probably one of the ones is that's I mean, I'm sure, obviously David Adams is not the only, upper deck supplier, but um, you know, it may drive a lot of business to them to try and get people to go ahead and buy that product, to try and be able to, uh, to try and be able to get, the business people buy, more and more and more and more boxes, from that standpoint. Um, so we will see. It's going to be, again, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it all works out, especially that product right there, because that's a hit and miss type thing to begin with. But I don't know. I don't know. It's sorry. Hold on a second here, gang. I have a message that I have to respond to. So, yeah. So, oh, hey, Trucker Tim, what's going on? Double T. But I think, again, it'll be interesting from that. Baseball, again, it's kind of slow. You don't have the product. There's only so much stuff. It's really interesting to see how the companies, how they get through. You know, Panini's not really doing the baseball, or if they are, they roll right now. What if Panini does a baseball product? It's veterans or minor leaguers. There's really not much to do there. Big John, how's it going, brother? How are you? Jimmy, how are you, sir? I just want to see, did I miss anybody in the chat? Hold on, I don't think I did. So you basically, again, the really the only product you got right now, is Series One. Tops did today, put out uh what do you call it? Big League. You can pre-buy some Big League if you want. But again, what from a reselling perspective, I mean, I don't think you're gonna have the super, the super what do you call it? Uh, the super thing, from that standpoint. Hey, hold on a second here, gentlemen. I will be. Oh, I said I was looking for a technical. I was looking for. We are having technical difficulties. Um, to put on the screen. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Appreciate your patience. So again, I guess when you look at what's out there, there's just not products not out there. I mean, baseball's. I mean, baseball's in a weird spot, right? Because when you look at release, all right, when you look at release dates, if you go to Beckett and you look at release dates, where from a person who, if you're trying to make money in this market, right? You have Spectre football, you have Upper Deck Series 2 hockey, right? I mean, you have CFL. I don't think we're gonna have a bunch of people running out there at CFL. You have Leaf Sports Heroes, pretty decent. Then you have, in March, you have Obsidian Football, all 2023 product. You don't have a 2024 baseball product coming out until roughly March 13th. And that is Topps Signature Archive Signature Series Baseball Active Player Edition. I don't know what that is going to cost, but I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to be cheap. None of that stuff is cheap, you know. Open 90 Flair, but I love archives. I like archives a lot. Right. There's going to be no money there either. I mean, because, not what you're going to get. Not with what you're going to get. And I don't, this whole thing about people saying, oh, the market this, the market that, the market this. I don't know when the market is going to change. I really don't know. Yeah. Probably. Hopefully get down to Betty, but you don't know nowadays. You have no clue. You have no clue what Fanatics is gonna do. I mean, I give them credit. They held Big League. The price was the same as it was last year, right? It was $50 last year, it's $50 this year. That's good. But even if you go ahead and you get it and you get the signature series and stuff like that, okay, it's cards per pack. One. Packs per box. One. So you're even at $80, like Jimmy says, it's still $80 for one card. How many autographs in the checklist? And they don't have a checklist out now. How many autographs are going to be worth that much money? It's one card per box. you know, so unless you hit one of the superstars, you're not getting anything back. You know, so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really really tough. There's no money. It's hard. So I don't know how the market corrects itself. Um, I really really don't. I think there's still factors out there. There are still people. And who knows? Maybe the baseball market will be different. Maybe we will get lucky. Excuse me. Maybe we'll get lucky, and the baseball market will be different, and the baseball market will come back a little bit, but I don't think it will. I don't like. What's the indications are that that the expensive stuff? Yeah, I understand you saying, hey, but Michael, Series One, you get a hobby box for what, $85, $90. You're right. You can. You know, you definitely can go ahead and get that. But what are you getting out of it? And how many of them can you buy? You buy two hobby boxes, okay, you get two silver, you get a silver pack and but it's series one. And it's not like there's a lot out there. The Magic market is bouncing back. I think a lot of people have given up on sports. Locking, I think that's a true statement. I really do. And I say that, you know, and it sucks, but I think you're right. I think people, but Magic's for the also. Yes. Yeah. The modern stuff is, I don't I'm not a Magic person. But a couple weeks ago we had the Lorcana goons on. And even with Lorcana goons, even when you look at the Lorcana, there's still only a few cards, even in the new stuff. I know Pokemon is Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh is Yu-Gi-Oh and all that kind of stuff. But I think when you look at the the sports card market. I understand some of these cards are still going for stupid dollars and cents, but the problem you have is that it's just it's just so hard. The average Joe has a hard time getting them. Magic priced themselves out of selling new sealed. Yeah, I mean, when you go to Walmart, Target, you see plenty of it. You see plenty of the packs on the chip clips, on the peg hooks. You see plenty of boxes. What is up, Dusty? How you doing? you know, but I just think, to try and it's funny. It's getting to the point now. Adam, how you doing? We got Tim saying hello. I think the market is at it's at a point right now where the average person, again, it's very expensive to get the market if you're trying to go ahead and make money. And I think that's there's still enough influence from the investors that is costing us, a lot of people, the collectors or the flippers. To me, I'm not talking about the guy who goes out. I'm talking about the flipper. To me, is not somebody who is you know, trying to go ahead and, and make, a killing, thinking that they're going to buy something for, they're going to find something super duper cheap because, and, maybe they turn around and they sell it because people don't know what they're doing. I'm not sure that type of market is there anymore. There's too much information at the tips of people's fingers to where you really have to come up against that person who knows absolutely nothing. That's maybe a garage sale. Maybe that's a flea market, something along those lines. But running up, going into a any kind of show and so on and so forth. The deals, the crazy ass deals, they're just not there, there anymore. Tops has to give Series 1 a longer runway just for the amount that is printed. True, they most certainly do. I think, there are reports that there's over 1,000,000. The print run is over 1,000,000 for base cards. That's nuts. So in reality, that's why all of a sudden, the paper becomes, for lack of better words, worthless because there's 1,000,000 Ellie De La Cruz. There's 1,000,000 Jason Dominguez. There's 1,000,000 whatever the next, top rookie is, you know? The market has changed so much now to where it is a short print insert market. Like those all of a sudden now have become the cards that people have tried to get. I don't know if there's a lot of set builders out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, in the Discord and stuff, you'll see somebody going, "Hey, I'm trying to do, Stadium Club 2023. I'm trying to do the set." There are still, but there's not as many as there once were. I think now you have people that they don't collect the full set. They may do inserts. Hey, I want to do all the Topps Chrome ML stars of the MLB. I want to do all of, the, the league leaders, in aqua and those types of things. But I don't think you have the big time, set builders out there anymore. To me, you don't see um a lot of those a lot of those people. Right. Yeah, you can't buy. I mean, it's very very hard to buy a common for under $2. Definitely. Definitely. It's not that easy. Paper's good for a team set. Yes. 100%. 100%. Man, this T-Bugging, what's happening? Mr. Shaw, how you doing, buddy? Hope all is well. You know, so what do? You look for Chrome, you look for, you look for Chrome, you look for, autographs and all that type of stuff. But again, you look through and you're guaranteed, You buy a box for $85. You buy a box of Stadium Club Series 1 for 85 bucks, 90 bucks, whatever the price is. You get one silver pack. Maybe you're lucky you get an autograph or you get a relic. The odds aren't even great. And with the number of players they have signing, it doesn't get it's not any, easier to try and get the stuff. It's really it's interesting as you see, and that, more and more, the breakers and stuff, and I still see breakers. They're still doing a lot, they're still doing series one, but it's not like not like it was. But I mean, you're talking about the big breakers now. Again, they're doing what? 5-star. They're doing definitive. They're doing all that kind of stuff. If they're doing baseball, that's what they're doing. You know, I know Panini, I think, still does what is it, immaculate? I don't know if I think this might be the last year they did it, but that's what they're doing. That's what the breakers are doing. The breakers aren't doing series one because you're gonna get. I mean, when it first came out, release day, yes, but now, if you're a breaker and release day was 3 weeks ago, no, 2 weeks ago, no, 3 weeks ago, are you still doing series one hobby boxes? If you're, a big time breaker, I mean, maybe you are if that's all you can get allocation for, but if not, I don't think so. Mr. Shaw, did you get the package? Building Archives 2023 base set. That'll be fun, Tim, because that's a big boy set. Beaver Breaks, how you doing? If I missed you before, I am sorry. Hello, hello, hello. Did I miss anybody else? Let me just check on the chat. Yeah, again, Tim, I think that would be good. We got Steve. How you doing? Hello, Steve. Thank you for coming. Double T. Craig, Land, Shark, Pika. What's up, my brother? You know, so I don't know. It's going to be, it's going to be, where my name was Fax. I really want to slow down production and make my hits count more, but I cannot handle all breakers needing new product every 2 weeks. Boys are running the presses 24/7. Yeah, I mean, that's what they are doing. All right, you got 22 archives. That's pretty cool. That how big is that set, Tim? How big is that set? Oh, hey, Tim, check with Dusty. Check with the ripping, and the flipping cards. He may have some 23 archives. Chuck Nasty in the house. Thanks for swinging by, brother. Much appreciated. So I don't know what baseball's going to do. I don't know how. I really don't. Then the whole big screw up. With the what do you call it, with the stamps not showing up on the one of ones. Like, I wonder. Oh, that's it. Only about 300. I thought archives was bigger. Well, that's cool. Good evening, Kenny. Maybe is it Heritage? That's, I think, rather large. Mr. Days of building sets. I bet I still have some sheets with nothing but numbers on it. Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But I think, it's just, although when you think about it, in reality now, it should be easier to go ahead and build sets because you don't get anything, of the higher end stuff. You don't get any of that in the boxes that you buy today. So building sets should actually be a little simpler. Or not a little simpler. It should be about as simple because you're not worrying about, you know, getting a lot of filler. You don't get filler in the packs like you did a little while, a few years ago. Now it's just all stuff. Excuse me. 792. But building sets, yep. Dusty buys all the bass that nobody wants. There you go. We have someone who buys bass because he's all about the bass, all about the bass. Yeah, yeah, all about the bass, all about the bass. But we will see. The market is, again, I don't know how the market changes. I really don't. Across the board. I mean, you look at things. I was looking like even WWE did Donruss Elite for the first time. And it was $300 or so a box. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, WWE. WWE. I have sheets with numbers on it. Most of my old sets from the 80s when I was a kid. Yeah. Yep. No treble. All about the bass. All about the bass. Yeah, I was never a set builder when I was younger. I never, that was something and um not a reason why. I mean, there was no, it's not like, well, I didn't do it because X, Y, and Z. I just, I just never did. It's a nice set, but double the price. Yeah, should be. It should definitely be the same as Revolution. It should not be. That set should not be $300. I mean, that box should not be $300. Oh, I'm gonna have to find a couple because I wouldn't mind just opening up a couple to go ahead and see if I can get some of the cards. You know. Yeah, like I said, I didn't have any, I just, it wasn't something that me and my friends did, so I don't know, my dad really wasn't into cards, and I didn't have, a brother or anything, so we just would go to the store, we'd buy them, then we'd come, we'd trade, then we would, flip them. We didn't think about keeping our cards for any good reason. Inside of the box top, very nice. I like that, Jimmy. Just don't need to sleeve Mookie's. Not saying Mookie's not a good player, but man, you know what? I ain't worrying about sleeving Mookie's either. I'll make fun of sleeving Mookie's. But you know, like I said, oh, Jimmy, be careful. If you rip product, if Dom watches your video, he's gonna rat you out to Brandon. Oh boy. So, uh, yeah. So I don't know what the market's going to wind up becoming. I don't know. I mean, like I said, uh I went to, the show, I mean, when we was back in Atlanta, back in, in what was it, in January. There were no, there were no super deals on anything. Even the boxes weren't anything special. Even the boxes that you were buying was nothing special. I mean, you know, I bought a compact box, of the Stadium Club. It was the same. It was, I think, $5 less than what I could have bought online. All right, so I mean, I saved money, but it wasn't, there. And again, there's so much stuff out there. I mean, it would be okay if the relics were better. If not every friggin' relic was just a little freaking napkin or just, one color, at least something better than that. And again, the autographs just aren't, you know, anything special. But maybe that's our problem, right? Maybe that's our issue. Maybe as collectors and as hobbyists, maybe we shouldn't be looking at the value of what a card can be sold for if we're collectors. Because if our mindset is the is that I'm a collector, I'm a hobbyist, right? And that's what I was when I was younger, when I was a kid. Maybe our mindset has changed as the hobby has changed. And maybe we look at it a lot different. Maybe we look at it that I should only open stuff that I can get monetary value out of. Maybe we need to look at it from a standpoint of is am I getting that emotional, value? Yeah, look at that. 2023 hand built for 80 bucks. That's pretty darn good. It was my introduction to this crew. I've been following. Hold on. I must have missed something. I bought a box of wow, 3,000 cards from my PC. I haven't put one card in it yet. Kind of disappointed because they discontinued. Oh, yeah. Fire was another one. Loved Fire. Hey, Johnny, what's happening, buddy? How are you? Hello there, Matty Ice, baby. What's going on? Oh, what's up, Mr. Postman? Mike Post, how you doing, buddy? Ripping for the rookies. And Maddie's saying hello, and he's saying hello here, saying hello. Everybody's saying hello. But maybe, you know, maybe it's our thinking. Maybe our thinking. Maybe we look at it the wrong way. You know, you know, you know. Maybe I have to think a little, different. Maybe, when I look at this, the Jacob DeGrom, card, maybe I maybe I maybe I have to not look at it as what the value is, what the monetary value is, but what the value is to me to have that card in my collection. You know, maybe more people think that way. I don't think it changes the pricing, but maybe it'll just make you think a little different. Saying, hey, look, I'm going to pay what I'm going to pay. I'm not looking at the monetary value that I could get out of it. You know, maybe it's the emotional value. Maybe that's where the it has to we have to change our focus to. You know, I don't because I like buying them and keeping some and trying out. Flip the others. So I mean, I got a stack of cards here that I'm gonna be working on getting on eBay. So, but again, maybe that's part of what it is. Sniped a fat 2018 fat pack for $25. Oh, nice. Baseball, I presume. You know. Again, I think if you look at people, you look at how they collect and stuff like that, go ahead. That's that's the thing. It's worth what you only think it's worth emotionally for your own PC. Yep. I mean, it goes down to the thing of is, collect who you want to collect what you want to collect, and don't worry about certain things. How many people, they put their nose down to Donruss baseball or Optic baseball or Select or Prism baseball because it didn't have the logo and everything, you know. But if you like the player and you collect the player, okay, maybe you don't go buy boxes, but so then look for the singles. of that player. If your if your favorite player is, insert name. If your favorite player is Francisco Alvarez from the New York Mets, then why wouldn't you want to own all his cards? Why wouldn't you want to own everything that you could of Francisco Alvarez? Why would you not want to? You know? I collect a lot of the C-level players, makes it easier to get. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm the same way. Do I like, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani? Do I like those players? Sure. But you know what? Unless I'm able to pack pull something crazy, I mean, I'm not going to go out looking for them, you know, uh, you know, whatever it may be, you know, um, I won't, like I said, I won't go looking for them. I won't seek out a top dollar Juan Soto or, Aaron Judge. But I will look for maybe a little more expensive or a card of Francisco Alvarez for a Pete Alonso. At least I may look for Pete Alonso's until July, end of July. It depends what happens in July, whether I continue to go ahead and try and get a bunch of his cards. You know. But I think overall, again, collect what you collect who you like. Who cares? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's just pictures of athletes on a piece of cardboard. And if you can make money from it, that's awesome. If you can figure out a way to go ahead and get your cards listed and turn and burn and make money and make a living of it. If you can make a living off of doing this kind of stuff, then go right ahead. God bless you. Put in the work and go, 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 go. Yeah. I don't see why you keep him if you're not going to sign him. I secretly do. I like Pete Alonso. But, that's a whole nother story. I don't know what the hell that team is doing. I really would love to have a better idea of what the plan is. So speaking of crazy things in the market, I don't know if you guys heard again. I know a lot of the people here are baseball, baseball, baseball guys. They're not really into any other sports. But you see, there was that Wemby gold. I think it's actually to 10. I think it was actually number one of 10 that was sent for grading, and it was sent to AGS. AGS. Who the hell's AGS? AGS. AGS is what they do what they call like forensic grading. That it's I think they are like 100%, AI and stuff. And the funny thing is that um uh the funny thing is people are saying, wow, why did you go that route? Why wouldn't you go, PSA? Why wouldn't you go SGC? And there's been no report why, you know. But I don't understand. A lot of people are saying like, you know, well, and he got a 9.5, and a lot of people thought that if it would have went to PSA, and if it could have gotten a 10, it could have gemmed. At PSA, anything's possible. It might have been a six-figure card. Could have been $100,000 card, and somebody decided to send it to AGS. So, Mr. Met on a short print on opening day. New York Mets, like the Reds, lost in non-competition and wandering. Yeah, but the thing is, you know, um, the Reds have good young players spread around their team. They have good offensive players. They have good young pitching. Mets don't have any good young pitching. They don't. And you know, Mets spent so much time drafting hitters that they forgot that there's this other important part of the game called pitching. And they didn't draft a lot of pitching. Haven't draft, it's just. I mean, I think this last draft in 2023, they did. They drafted a few more pitchers, but they haven't been a team that drafts, a lot of pitching. Okay, Lachlan. Right, right, and that was what somebody said. Are you doing it just to go ahead and if it's his card? Now, I don't know what AGS costs, but why not at least knowing that you wouldn't get an upcharge if you went SGC? Why wouldn't you at least put it in an SGC holder? Because then at least it would have a significant amount, or I think it would have a significant amount more value than an AGS. Correct. Correct. And that's, you bring up a good point there, Lockham. So I saw a post on Twitter, and the person said, I don't get it. Why the hell are raw cards for certain players selling for more than a PSA 9? And, you know, and people were coming up with all these reasons why and blah, 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 blah. And I think the truth is that because you sent it in, you got it graded, it got a 9. If I see another card that's raw and I'm looking at it, and if the person has either good scans or good pictures, if I think I could get a 10, I might pay more for that one because I already know the PSA 9 more than likely is not going to be a PSA 10 if I crack it and send it in, right? But the raw card, I may have a better shot at getting a PSA 10. So, I think that's why you're starting to see certain players' raw cards actually selling for more than PSA number niners. AGS is the grading card you would get from No, I don't think the owner of the card has spoken about it, Dusty, to be honest with you. Because the gamble of getting a 10. That's right. 100%. That's why people would rather buy a raw than buy a PSA 9, you know? And the funny thing is the two listings the guy showed, you could literally see the PSA 9 was off center. The one that he was showing, the raw one, at least the front of the card, because that's the only picture he showed, it was good left to right and top to bottom. So, I mean, to me, they definitely had more of a chance to get a 10. Really? I thought AGS was a newer company. I thought AGS, they were in this new. I know they do. They call their grading like forensic grading, which I guess that's just fancy words for AI. Be right back. Uh-oh. Trucker Tim got to pay the toll. No. So they've been around that long, AGS? Wow. I thought AGS was a newer upstart company. Automated grading service, AI card grading. Hmm. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Join the 30K strong global card community. Within 2 years of inception, we've built a strong community that loves and stands by us. We have influencers like Gary King, Pokemon, Master P, Lionheart, Caitlin Sith, Ash Ketchum, Dr. Applesauce, Meta Matin, Lootbox TV, Sam from Otherverse, and Zenturion, just to name a few. If Ellie actually becomes a hitter above 280 this year, I'll grade his card. $14 per card, 20-day turnaround. I mean, why not? Who cares? If it's going in your collection, doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you collect what you collect, grade with whoever you want to, grade with. Again, I've always said, and people will say grading is stupid, grading is stupid. I get it. Grading's not for everybody. People grade for different reasons. There are some who grade and they'll grade only with PSA because if they're going to have to turn around and sell that card, they want the most value. I get it. I'm okay with it. Not going to go ahead and not going to kill anybody for it. If that's what you want to do, go right ahead. You know, I will get stuff. Mine's not necessarily about being graded because of caring too much about the grade. A lot of times with me, it's more about protecting the card. Because I just, I rather have it sealed. Hopefully it gets a good seal when they, when they, slab it. But I'm thinking more along the lines of, you know, moving to, one touches, or uh that magnum, not that magnum, the slab one touch that you could actually, put a label in because you could create your own label, on your own little printer and shove it in there and stuff like that. I agree. I've said for the longest time, looking, and Anthony and I had this discussion, um, because Anthony, used to own started a grading company, sold it and worked for a grading company. The company that he's working for now, I believe, may do some, may deal with grading companies and stuff. And I always said that's my thing. When is a 10 going to be a 10 going to be a 10? Why should it matter? And why should one company's 10 be worth more? And like who picked PSA? Like how did PSA become the gatekeeper? But you're right. Theo, man, Theo staying up late. Whoa, my goodness gracious, man. Must not have to work, must have a few feet of snow. You have no idea if your car was graded by the best guy or someone just starting out. Maybe they were just half asleep that day. That is 100% correct. That's the thing that gets me. There is no, nobody has a little, shingle in their cube saying that they went to grading school. They got a 4.0. They were on the dean's list at grading school. You know, that'd be pretty cool. That would be very, very cool, man. Right? Having a bad day, and what happens? You get screwed. I figured as much, brother. Thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it. Don't forget, hit that like button on your way out. Shameless plug. Yeah. That's the thing that always scared me. That's why I was wondering, is AI the worst? Is it the worst thing for grading cards? I don't know. I don't know what it, if again, I look at it from a standpoint of is if you were a PSA and you decided to potentially go ahead and think about, you know, adding more AI into your, adding AI, how does that really affect your other cards? How does that affect the decades and decades and decades of cards that you have out there that were done by a human. And what's worse is when you can pick up a PSA slab and you can look at the card and go, that one is off left to right. How in the hell did that get a 10? New will be series one. I'll have some more series one. I mean, there's really not anything new out there to go ahead and get. That's the problem, John. I'd love to go ahead and get new stuff, but there's nothing to get. I mean, guys don't do football, you don't do basketball, you don't really do hockey. There's nothing to get. I can get wrestling, I can get some Marvel. You went to grading school. Did you pass? Who wouldn't like all cards to get a 10? I don't have any jumbo packs. I had a big sale like at the end of the last show. I think it was probably like from 11 to 11:30 last week. We went ahead and got rid of all the jumbo packs. Um, Pass with a D plus. um, but I don't know. I mean, grading is so subject. That's what I'm saying. And it's funny with it being so subjective. Love you too, Johnny. Love you too, man. With it being so subjective, is that the reason why no one wants AI, or there's so much pushback on like a tag on an AGS? I know even HGA, they did a little bit. Arena Club, uh, eh, maybe not as much, but those other companies, they were doing a little bit of, excuse me, a little bit of the AI stuff. You know, why the pushback? I don't know. Grading cards will always have the same problem. AI gives its version of a grade. A fellow looks at the card and says the color is off a bit, and and that should be an X grade. You're right. You're right. I mean, I think maybe that type of stuff is something that can be looked at. But I mean, our thing should be pretty simple. I mean, you can't tell me. I mean, look, they sell a centering tool that you could buy on Amazon or eBay to lay it on your card and figure out what range your card is. Is it 50-50, 60-40, whatever it may be, right? You could do it. Now you need to know what a perfectly centered card looks like, because a lot of times, we don't have that perfect. There are cards that have a perfect border around them. Like when you look, like when you look at a card like this, right? There is a border. There is a specific border. So whether this is off left or right, top or bottom, you should be able to know. You know, this card here, it has a border. Again, it should be easy to know if that is all centered. But when you get to this card, well, how do you know? Do you use the word up above? You know, if you use this Braun Breaker card, how can you really tell what is centered? Do you use the circle and everything? So that's where the whole, subjective part, some of it still comes in. Yeah, to me, like I said, I grade more for protection. That's the super rare or rare out of 2021 holiday. So the question becomes, is a card in a 10, say 15 years ago, and now gets a 9, which one is correct? Riddle me that. That's just it. It depends who went ahead and graded the card. It depends on what tools they had. I don't know. At some point in time, I mean, you would have to think that grading at PSA, and we're going to use them as the one, right? Most of the grading had to be done just by this, just by a guy maybe having glasses, maybe, maybe all of a sudden he put them on the wrong way. You know what I mean? But you're talking about a guy who had glasses or a guy who looked at a card and just went and said, that looks pretty good top to bottom. That looks pretty good left to right. Underneath the light, I don't see any surface damage or anything. Bang! That's a 10. There you go. That's a 10. Walking, thanks for hanging out, brother. You know. And then, like I said, but to your point, Dusty, I mean, I look at it from a standpoint of, I mean, you know, Mike did the grading and everything, and he could look at a card, he can see it. And he could see the little, 55, 45. He could pick up those little things because he looked at so many cards and stuff. So he could pick up those types of things. You know, PSA started off its company hype with a fraud card as advertising this because I know that is why me personally I don't understand why or how PSA became the standard. They became the ones where it was like, look, if you get a card and it's not a rare card, because obviously we've seen some SGC cards that sell for more than PSA cards. It's far and few in between, but you do see it. But for the most part, especially when you're looking at your modern cars, it's about PSA. They are the ones. So if you're looking to go ahead and make that profit, if you're looking to go ahead and get you know, the most bang for your buck, you grade what you pull that raw card and you grade with PSA. To me, the part that I don't like with PSA, it's not necessarily that they are the quote unquote standard, but it's that if you send this card to them and they say in a 10, this card is now a $250 card, and oh, hey, you did not pick the right level of service because your card is more expensive. Now I'm going to upcharge you. Even though my guy over there did nothing different. Whether you sent in a base card that you of your favorite player and you just wanted to get it slabbed and they're going to go through the grading process, or you got something of super value. That guy over there does nothing different. Nothing. Zero. I know because I live with someone who grades cards. They don't look at them any differently. They don't spend more time on a card that might have more value. They look at the cards the way they look at the cards. You know. Right. I agree. I agree 100% with you. Not everybody can, you know, but that's why if you don't have the eye, if you could look at a PSA, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have that eye for looking at them, you need to use a pre-grader to look at your cards before you send them in because at this point in time, you do not want to pay for any if you're going to use PSA and it's about flipping the card. It is not about keeping it in your PC. It is strictly about selling that card. You do not want to send anything to PSA that is not going to be a 10 because people now, like I said a little earlier, they are looking at PSA 9s and they're going, "Wait a minute. There's a raw card. I'll buy the raw because to my eye, the raw looks better than that PSA 9. I rather take a chance and spend a few more dollars on that raw over the PSA 9, send it in, and I think I can get a 10. And then all of a sudden, I use a pre-grader. I will raise my hand. I do. See, yeah. Tommy does, you know. Because like because I'm saying because it pays because you cannot from a dollars and cents perspective, it doesn't pay for you to pay for the grading, have your card not in, you think about it. You pull the card and you immediately turn around and you do a submission. And you send it in yourself and you pull the card on Monday and you go, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting this graded." And you go on PSA's website and you send it in, and then it goes away and it comes back when I don't know because of the service. I'm not sure what their service levels are. All right. But then you're waiting, and then it goes in and it comes back, and you're like, "Oh crap, this is the PSA 9. Oh crap, this is the PSA, or worse. Oh my gosh, this is the PSA 8." And then you're hosed. You're hosed. So it's like, to me, you only, again, and I'm going strictly off of a value perspective. If you're looking to resell a card, you pull a banger and you send it into PSA to get graded, you better get a 10 because if not, you wasted all of any amount of money you paid for flipping reasons. You've wasted that money. That money is not coming back to you. Well, I mean, it is, because if you pull it out of a box for, I don't know, you pull it out of a $100 box, let's say, and maybe, in a PSA 9, the card goes for $400, right? Okay, you get that money back, but you don't get the money of the grading part back. So where that card will you bought for 100 in a PSA 9, oh my gosh, it only sells for 250, but you spent the time grading it, whereas raw, you might have gotten 250 for it as raw. Don't grade often, but we're doing much more this year. That's good. If it's a PC card, then yes, 100% correct. That's what I'm saying. That to me, that's what I'm saying. You're like that's the tipping point, right? Is it is it a collection card or is it a resale card? If it's a collection card, I mean, Mr. Enfuego, he likes the PSA holder. He started collecting PSA. He doesn't care about he has his Julio Rodriguez collection. He didn't necessarily care about the grade or his Alex Rodriguez collection. He didn't care about the grade, but he wanted the slabs to be the same. Perfect. But if you're going to turn around, you're going to try and sell that card. If it isn't a 10, you're better off going raw. So if you pay, say, $40 to PSA for a grade, what does the grade parader card? Just perfect. Just curious. So, for instance, a pre-grader probably, the, you know, maybe $5, maybe $3, $3 to $5. Maybe, if you maybe you get a volume discount, but you save $40 to PSA, you send it to a pre-grader. Typically what the pre-grader will do, Dusty, is you send, well, like I'll use Mike as an example. If you pay, um, send 10 cards to Mike, okay, and he pre-grades them for you, and let's say and he charges $5 a card. So you pay $50 for that pre-grade of those 10 cards. But he comes back and he says, "Hey, Dusty, guess what? These five, if you're trying to resell them, these are going to get nines or less. Then you don't have to send them the PSA, so you don't pay the $40. You only paid five to figure out what the grade is. So from that standpoint, you know, yep, you're right. I mean, I've done the same thing with a bunch of, a bunch of my cards. I didn't care. Now I like the SGC slab, you know, so I didn't care, but that's what I did. Same thing. It didn't matter to me. 20 and under, yep, depending on who you're grading with. Yep, 100% Dom, 100%. It might, well, I mean, again, depending on who you're grading with. Depends on who you're grading with. But again, that's the thing, Dusty. That's the piece you're looking at, right? So what happens is where if you're not 100% sure, Mike has a microscope. He has a microscope that he hooks up to his computer, and he actually can, he moves the card underneath this microscope thing that he has. So he sees flaws in surface and all the other kind of stuff. He may see stuff that a grader won't even notice, right? But he can go ahead and say, hey, guess what? Out of these 10, 5 of these I think you're gonna get a 9. What do you want to do? And then you, as the customer, say, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Send all 10 in. Then you pay whatever the price is. If you say, ooh, I don't want the 9 sent in, hold the 9s, only send in the 5 that are going to get 10s, that could potentially get 10s. Here's my best case scenario. You will get 10s on these. Then you only pay the PSA grading on those 5 cards rather than all 10. Yeah, you gotta do it in bulk, for sure. No, typically your pre-grade, like Mike, if you were to send cards to Mike, he will do the submission. So he's not sending them to you. I mean, unless that's what you require. He will submit them for you, you know, uh he will do that part for you if that's what you request, or he could ship them back to you and say, I would recommend these 5 go, these 5 don't. That would be your choice, as a customer. Yep, all the PSA specials definitely go ahead and help. They do have them, and again, but yeah. But like I said, anybody that you're dealing with, any bulk submitter, make sure that they will look at they will do a pre-grade on cards for you. Again, some will charge, some won't. Some offer, a not like a Kurt's card care, but some they will offer, a wipe down service, which really typically they do anyway. They just take the cards, especially on the Chrome cards, they'll hit them with a microfiber to go ahead and get any kind of fingerprints or anything like that off of them before they put them inside the sleeve and then put them inside the card saver. You should definitely should. Definitely should. There are a lot of LCSs, that will take a look at cards for you. But I always recommend that if you're going to get them graded, you use some kind of, a group submitter that offers, a pre-grading service. It is definitely the way to go. Now, obviously, look, no pre-grader is going to be perfect. So that doesn't mean, it does, just because you use any pre-grader does not mean that, you know, um, if they say you'll get, 5 10s and 5 9s, that you will get 5 10s and 5 9s. Because again, the subjectivity of the grader when it gets to PSA, SGC, HGA, or any of them, right? You still have that human element. So from that standpoint, so it's not, let's say, a guarantee, but you know, it's really more against the ones that are definitely gonna don't have a chance. And that's really why you're using your pre-grader. Your pre-grader is more geared towards those cards that will not get a 10, that really have no chance of getting a 10. Again, resale value. those are the ones that you don't want to send in. Again, uh, like Big John said, you know, um, if you if it's for your PC and it's for your collection, you don't care. You know, um, I have some older Fred Lynn cards that I will probably think, maybe some autographs and stuff that I would like to particularly think about getting slabbed. I don't care about the grade because that's a PC card. Not looking to go ahead, and sell it, right? But for instance, if I decided that I wanted to get this, the Anthony Volpe gold minted, that if I want to get that, if I want to sell that, I'm gonna have, pre-grader look at it. Because if it can get a 10, it's worth a lot more money than a 9. Worth a lot more money than raw. So that's the way you have to, kind of, look at it. There is 100 levels to a C note. Yep. Excuse me there. So, but yep, that's the way I would go, Dusty. I mean, I definitely would have somebody look at your cards, and go from there. Again, unless you unless you do not unless you don't care about the grade. So, from that standpoint. What do we have going on? Anything special? I've really heard of a bunch of other stuff on the market and stuff. Market's not really, again, like I said, we talked about it earlier. The market is weird. I still find the market very, very weird. The not a lot of stuff out there. It's stuff still going crazy. Matty Ice cards. I was ready to get back into NASCAR, then realized Panini makes the cards. Blah. Have to watch a few things here and there, though. What's up, Tim? Um, yeah, their Chrome cards, their Prism, their Select, uh, eh. But I mean, their Chronicles is really nice because you got the paper and everything. Their Donruss is decent. But look at Chronicles. Chronicles is not a bad one to go ahead and get from Panini when it comes to NASCAR, because again, you get the all the different brands, so you can get your Zenith, you can get a Prism, you can get a Mosaic, you can get, an Obsidian. So you can still get some really cool cards while you're going to go ahead and get some of the paper also. So if you can find NASCAR Chronicles out there, that's good. I like that one. That's pretty decent. And I'll get the Donruss too, if I see it at a decent price. Um, but Dusty, I understand what you're saying, but there's something about a shiny card, man. You get them cracked ice cards, or red cracked ice, or blue cracked ice, or the what do you call them? The Not the refractor ones, but the pulsars. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. It does, but like I said, Chronicles is a good way to go. Get a nice mix, and being that you don't get as many Chrome cards, you have a little less chance of getting disappointed. Not saying you won't get disappointed. You might still get disappointed. But you have a little bit of a less chance of getting disappointed. I was just looking at I was just going through some stacks of cards to list, and I was gonna do NASCAR. I should have did it before the Daytona 500. but I missed it. So now I'll probably wait, and get to him. Yeah, I think what is it? It's RGL, right? Run Good Life. I think he might be the only one who does NASCAR breaks. Maybe others. I know. I think. Well, it depends on how they do it. I think Hitman may do it also. But I don't know if some of them. What they do now is they basically do a draft break, or they do a numbers break. Like in some of the product that every card is numbered. What they do is they'll do the serial numbers. 21 Chronicles at Walmart Fat Pack, $5. A $5 holla. Do I have any highly damaged PC cards that you think are cool for you? Hmm. I mean, being a Mets fan and collecting Mets cards, I do have Mets cards that have, from 76, 77, 78, that were thrown against the asphalt on up against a curb to try and get a leaner to see who would win, or against a concrete stoop to get a leaner to win, or place a leaner up there to try and knock them off. So I have some that are scratched and scratch marks, dent marks. Seriously, you know, not a soft corner, but more of a rounded corner. So yeah, I do. Rose City Hobby does it on Whatnot. Really? Huh. I am gonna have to check them out. Eloy the Goat does some NASCAR. How would you knew? So I've seen it done two different ways. The only two ways I've seen it done, Dami, are they do alphabetical and then they group letters together. So it's not a full 26 letter break. It might only be like 15 spots because they group last names together. I've seen that. And then for excuse me for the higher end product, I've seen them do serial numbers. So whatever the card is numbered, on the left side, they sell 10 spots, 0 to 9, and they go that way by car part. That is how I've seen NASCAR done. Draft, yeah. Some could do a draft. They do a draft depending on like if they were doing let's say like immaculate or flawless that only has, like 7 cards or 10 cards in a box. What they may do is if they open up 2 of them, they may sell, spots, and you do a snake draft, 1 through 10, then 10 to 1, and you whatever spot you land in, you pick whatever card you want that is left, like on the table. Thanks, Jimmy, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. Much appreciated, brother. Thank you very much. What happens if you star something? Anything special happen? If you get a star, what happens? I don't know. Night, Jimmy. Night, Jimmy. Night, Uncle Jimmy. Night, Jimmy John's. Go make the sandwiches. That's how you do Jersey Fusion. Ah, that's another one. Jersey Fusion would be another one. Yep. Because you don't know a lot of times if you don't know the exact, if you don't know the exact checklist or if it, depending on how many cards come in a box, depending on what the break is. Like I said, I thought it was run. I know I saw Hitman do one time and it was immaculate and it was a serial number one. I know that for sure. Maybe I thought I saw Run Good Life do one, but then I know Run Good Life does a lot of wrestling, and he does wrestling by alphabet, and he groups up he groups up the names from that standpoint. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything, but I I would like to get more NASCAR, but I mean, the issue you have is that um, I want to do it to go ahead and try and sell, and I don't really think there's a lot of value in it right now. Trucker Tim, how is the new rig? How's it working out for you? Trucker Tim, do you have a cell phone booster on your truck? Like, with an antenna and everything? But I tell you, the one cards that looked really good. Leaf came out with those wrestling heroes. Man, I watched Chai City Pulls open up 3 boxes. Holy smokes, those things were gorgeous looking. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I think he had 3 boxes. I think he was he lucky enough to pull a one-on-one out of every box. I think he might have gotten 2 one-on-ones. But man, those cards were sweet looking. Excuse me. So I wish there was more wrestling, but again, like we talked earlier, you have Donruss Elite. It's so expensive. There's like not a lot of inexpensive stuff out there, especially from a hobby box perspective. But I think they do make Elite in blasters or mega boxes. So I will definitely try and get a mega box of uh of Elite. I think that's good. I like the Elite card. All right. Pretty good. Got some new tires. Ordered a fridge to put on the top bunk. Nice. Gotta keep your soda cold. F1 lost. Yes. Yes. F1 did lose a lot. You're 100%. I remember why Big John, why you talking like some of those uh what is it? Max oh, Max Van Sparen, whatever his name was, and Louis Hamilton. I mean, a couple of those cards were going for like stupid, stupid money. I could not believe it. Really, really dumb. Really, really dumb. So, but hey, like I said, Big John, I bought some of the tops paper. Did I get Chrome? I think I just bought some of the tops like paper of F1 that had F1 and F2. It was okay, nothing special. I think out of like maybe bought like 2 blasters. I think out of I got like maybe 1 numbered card. But again, I wasn't expecting really anything out of it. I was just more curious about it to open it up on the channel and stuff. Indy cars gained popularity, but I am in Indy, so you might be a little bit biased. Might be, might be. Do you think NASCAR cards and hits don't actually use a specific race tire relic is deterring fans from crossing over to the cards? I don't have any close enough to go ahead and answer that question. I I do have a couple of NASCAR cards um, that did have relics. Um, I just don't know because I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's a draw to it per se. Um, I would think by now a lot of the NASCAR fans should know that there's cards out there. I would think it would be in NASCAR's best interest to to try and push that. Why they don't, I don't know. It's yeah, I'm not sure. Because I think they do. I mean, you think about, between gloves and fire suits, there's a lot of stuff that uh, they can get and stuff. I know when uh, yeah, I have a couple of Dell Jr. cards and uh, JJ, Tony Stewart. I have a couple of really nice Richard Petty cards stuff, from there. But I don't, winner of a race at Brickyard this year gets only 200 relics of the race winning tire versus top making a player worn jersey from a photo shoot is a problem. Yeah. Well, yeah. You're not wrong. Player worn doesn't mean game used. You have a lot of that stuff going on too. Player worn, yeah, they put it on and they took it off. They put it on, they took it off. You think about it, a player can sit there for half an hour and put a lot of jerseys on to go ahead and cut them all up and make bits and pieces out of them. He was your favorite guy when you were younger, and now he's your favorite guy because he drove for the Viagra car. I get it, Maddie. It's a good thing from a seller's point. But I will tell you that, like I'll put it this way, even here in Atlanta, big NASCAR is big, big. They have the race down at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which really isn't in Atlanta; it's in Hampton. It's not that very far. But I'll tell you, going around the card show, there wasn't there wasn't a lot of NASCAR. I don't think there was more Lorcana, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Than there was NASCAR and F1. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you didn't see it, but you might have a guy who has a full case, and if you're lucky, you may have one, maybe two. But most of them didn't have anything. Yeah, NASCAR racing, it's an odd, it's all right. I still say, to be honest with you, I mean, you know, baseball is, To me, the market is still being driven by football, um, basketball still, then baseball. And again, you know, the problem you have is it is a high end market. It's not a low, in my opinion, it's not a low end market. It's a high end market. It's you know, y- that's what you see. You see the higher end stuff. That's what you see. Don't get me wrong. You go on eBay, you're gonna find a lot of $1.25, $1.50, $1.75 cards. But I mean, when you look at, where, if you look at where the not where the bulk of the market is, a lot of that market is in the higher end dollar stuff. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, I guess, I don't know what the draw to, the fan is. Because when you think about it, a lot of times, yeah, it's the driver, but it's the car. I mean, there are certain drivers that were different, right? Dale Jr., right? Whatever he was in, it was going to be okay. When he was Mountain Dew, when he was Budweiser, when he was whatever it may be, right? So he followed him. But there are a lot of NASCAR drivers. It's about the car, it's about the team. So it's not necessarily about the driver per se. It's like, ooh, I could get Kyle Busch, in the M&M's car, in an M&M's fire suit. That was cool. I'm an M&M's guy. I'm a Joe Gibbs guy. I love the number 18. Oh, Kyle left. Well, I don't really care about Kyle, but I still love the M&M's car if that's what they still have. So, I'm not sure if I don't know how did they miss the mark? Sure. They probably did. They probably never cashed in on on trying to get, better deals and stuff. I don't, but, from that standpoint. Oh, it was Top Series 2. I mean, sorry, Upper Deck Hockey Series 2 is gonna be absolutely stupid. Stupid. But what's happening is, I was looking at a breaker, people that I break with, Triple Diamond. They're great. I love them. They do great breaks. They are more of a consistent hockey. They do all sports, but they will always have hockey and everything. But they're doing the smart thing, right? There's only 31 spots for hockey. It's pick your team. It's 31 spots. The one spot you can't buy is Chicago. Chicago will get randomed off to the other 31 people that is in the break. What does that mean? They they're going to sell the breaks out. Those cheaper teams are going to sell just because people will go, "Hey, I'll buy 2, 3 $25 teams and have 3 chances or 10%, just under 10% of chance to get the Blackhawks." So not really stupid. There's that it's smart. Yeah. Yep. Still have bet. Yep. I actually have two Home Depot jackets. I have a friend gave me one, and then you know I used to work for Home Depot, and when Home Depot got into NASCAR, every time the Atlanta race would come to town, Tony Stewart and Greg Zipadelli and the crew would come to the Home Depot store support center. They'd have this big thing, you could bring an item and get Tony Stewart to sign it for free and everything. You can, get a couple minutes of talk to him, and they would have the show cars and all the kind of stuff out there. And they had a contest, and I actually won an autographed Home Depot jacket, which is pretty darn cool. I wonder if I have that picture. That was one year when the year I won that jacket. Uh, was it background? Why I was posting my video? Nice. Got to go chase disease. 5 hours. All righty. Have a wonderful night, Adam. Thank you for going ahead and stop hanging out. Much appreciated. Uh-oh. Miller Lite Letterman. Man, I wonder if I could find those pictures. I have no idea where the hell they are. I definitely gotta find them. They were so cool. They were so, so cool, man. That was when we went to the race. Yep, that was the race. Oh, no, that was something different there. Dang it. That's irritating. Valvoline jacket. No. Bummer. I have to find them. Yeah, that might be something to go ahead and might be able to find. View, cruise, fish, GoPro, cars. Oh. So this is some of the stuff that you would get at Home Depot. So you'd have this stuff, and you know, the guys would show up. That's me with the old earpiece right there and the old little flippy phone. And I'm getting a Tony Stewart card. There's Greg Zippadelli. You can see that jacket right there? That's the autographed jacket. And there was Tony. He signed right on the window for my buddy. And there's Zippy signing my card. And whoop, look who it is. There's Michael with his jacket that he won. Standing next to Joe Gibbs, baby. And then Joe Gibbs, and you can barely see it. Let me see. It's Joe Gibbs Super Bowl ring. Let me go ahead and wear it. And you see there's the Tony Stewart autograph. But Joe Gibbs showed me and had his little Super Bowl ring. But they would do that. That's my buddy Bill. And then they would bring the show cars. So these are all the cars that were in the stable of yeah. These are all the cars they would have. These are the show cars. They would bring them, and you can get around, walk around. So it was pretty cool. It was very, very cool. Yeah. And it's not NASCAR stuff does not does not go. Stop staring. Yep, very, very difficult. Very, very, very difficult to sell. Yeah, it was like I was saying, the hockey stuff, Matt, like you were saying, like I'm looking at Triple Diamond, they posted 4 hobby box, 4 breaks. Each break has 3 hobby boxes in it, and it's pick your team, but the Black Hawk spot is gonna be random, so, it's crazy. Oh, yeah, they are. Joe Gibbs was incredible. Um, then one year we weren't able to take pictures. It was actually when Tony was leaving, they had a special thing for him at Home Depot, and actually JD Gibbs showed up, and he was just standing there, and I was standing there talking, and we talked for a while. Good night, Mike. You know, we went ahead, and I was talking to JD Gibbs, got to meet him, talking to Joe for a little bit. It's incredible. And you think about, Joe Gibbs, you think about what he had, he's like the only guy, or was at that definitely at that time. He was the only one who wasn't a car guy per se. He wasn't like Rick Hendrick, who had, hundreds, or, however many, tens and twenties of car dealerships. He wasn't like, Roush, who had their thing, or DEI, or anything, or any of that kind of stuff, or Childress. He was just, coach of the Redskins and a Super Bowl champion, and then he put his own money and started the whole thing. So it's pretty interesting. Crazy to think that because he was so popular, he just didn't have the collectibility. Yeah, it is kind of nuts. You are incredible, Kenny. When Kentucky Speedway had the Indy cars the first year, you could walk right to the stall. Oh wow, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't, not sure why, that stuff doesn't sell. I don't know I don't know how the market was missed. Like Big John said, I'm not 100% sure. All right. I mean, it was crazy though that the market was missed. So Did you really? That's really cool. So I had a buddy who used to work in NASCAR, and then he was actually he was in the media part, and he went to work for Texas Motor Speedway in Dallas as the VP of marketing and media. And I was out there one time visiting him, and we went and had lunch in the restaurant of the raceway. So that was pretty cool. And then he's like, "Hey, come on, let's go downstairs." We went, so we get in the elevator, we go down the stairs and everything. We walk out to the parking lot. He's like, "Hey man, let's go for a ride. I just got this Tahoe." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Where are we going?" He goes, "Dad, don't worry about it." And he turned, went, and he jumped on Texas Motor Speedway, and we did a couple laps. I think we did like two and a half laps around Texas Motor Speedway in his Yukon. It was very, very cool. Very, very cool. I've done 13, so had to move on to ultras. So you had 13 regular Michelobes. So now you went to Michelob Ultra. Nice. You're trying to go ahead and do the right thing. I like that, Maddie. I like it. Very good. Glad that's what you have done. Glad you went to the ultras. A baker's dozen. Ultra marathons. Oh, I get it. Oh, wow. That must be a fun little track to go to. I mean, I've heard so much about it. I've never gone. I've never, never been to that track, but I can only imagine that that track must be a lot of fun. I've actually only been to one NASCAR race. I went to Talladega, and that was interesting. The Bowl of Deafness. That would be pretty cool. I said, I've been to Talladega, and um, it's oh, very cool. About 2 hours from there. Very, very cool. Very cool. Wait, Talladega was weird because we were kind of close to, I guess, turn four. So you're watching the race. They take off, and then all of a sudden, you hear them, but you don't see them, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're looking, and you're waiting, and you don't see. And then all of a sudden, you look out. You look out, towards turn two, the back stretch. You can kind of hear the noise getting a little bit louder. And then out of the glimpse, you start seeing the little thing. Then so it's pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Very nice. 19 years in a row. That's freaking cool, man. That must be crazy with those cars. I've never seen them. I can only imagine what that's like with those cars. That's got to be nuts. Yeah, I mean, I've been to the little dirt track by us when they had monster trucks there, and that was ridiculous. Crazy loud, Indy. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, everybody. It's 5 minutes to 12. Dang. I gotta say, out of I guess it's got a little easier. I hope I'm doing better. It's not easy being alone doing this kind of stuff. I do appreciate it. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna uh I'm gonna be closing up shop here. Big John, what do you got? Doing my first grade to consignment order. Ooh, nice. I hope it works out. Please put it on your IG so we can go ahead and see it. Would love to see it on your IG. to see how it works, man. Wish you nothing but the best. Thank you, sir. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. I appreciate each and every one of you guys and girls that show up. Rip and chip on Thursday. See you in some chats. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Peace.